Shadows of Pride. The evening light cast long shadows through the minimalist penthouse as Elena Donahue stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, watching Chicago's skyline transform into a constellation of lights. She absently twisted her wedding ring, 3 years married and somehow feeling more alone than ever. "I made coco vin," she called out, hearing the front door open. "Your favorite." Marcus Donahue loosened his tie as he entered, his tall frame and sharp features softened by exhaustion. He kissed her cheek, the gesture somehow both intimate and distant. "You're amazing," he said, setting down his portfolio. "But I can't stay for dinner. The Westlake project is in crisis mode. I need to head back out." Elena's smile faltered. "Another rain check? That's the third this week." Marcus ran his fingers through his dark hair. "That's what happens when you're competing for the biggest architectural contract in the city." His voice softened. "Once I land this, things will change. I promise." Promises? Elena had collected them like seashells, beautiful, hollow things that eventually crumbled. Growing up in Santa Fe, Elena had worked in her family's humble restaurant, where her grandmother had taught her that food was love made visible. Her culinary talents had earned her a scholarship to Chicago's prestigious Culinary Institute, where she'd met Marcus, the ambitious architect who'd fallen for her authentic spirit and remarkable cooking. But Chicago's architectural elite operated in a world where connections trumped talent, where the right spouse was as crucial as the right design. Marcus had quickly learned that his Mexican-American wife, with her unpolished accent and lack of social pedigree, raised eyebrows among the city's old money circles. "The Bryant Foundation Charity Ball is this Friday," Elena said, placing two perfect plates on the dining table. "I thought maybe we could go together this time." Marcus paused, the familiar discomfort crossing his face. "It's not really your scene, Elena. All business talk and fake smiles." "How would I know? I've never been to one of your events." "Because I'm protecting you," he insisted, checking his watch. "These people are sharks." "Or protecting yourself?" The words slipped out before she could stop them. The silence between them stretched taut. "That's not fair," he finally said. "I've worked my entire life to get where I am." "And I'm what? A liability?" "I never said that." Elena set down her wine glass. "You didn't have to." Later that night, as Marcus slept beside her, Elena scrolled through social media, finding photos from a firm dinner she hadn't known about. There was Marcus, arm around the chair of an empty seat, laughing with colleagues. When asked about his wife, according to a comment, he had simply said, "She's more comfortable at home." A tear slid down Elena's cheek. She had become invisible, a wife mentioned but never seen, like a ghost haunting the margins of his successful life. Tomorrow would mark another day of the same elegant imprisonment. But somewhere inside her, beneath the hurt, something was shifting. A small flame of determination flickered to life. The breaking point. Elena stared at the invitation resting on the marble counter. The Bryant Foundation Charity Ball, the social event of the season, where Chicago's elite gathered to network under the pretense of philanthropy. The envelope was addressed only to Marcus Donahue. She traced her fingers over the embossed lettering, remembering when she used to believe their love would transcend these invisible boundaries. 3 years ago, Marcus had looked at her across a crowded cooking class, ignoring the socialites vying for his attention, and chosen her, the scholarship student with flour-dusted hands and dreams bigger than her background. The front door opened, and Marcus entered carrying takeout bags from Gianfranco's, the overpriced Italian place his colleagues favored. "I brought dinner," he announced, setting down the bags. "Thought you deserved a night off from cooking." "That's thoughtful," Elena replied, sliding the invitation toward him. "This came today." Marcus glanced at it. "Good. I've been waiting for this. The Bryant Foundation is connected to every major development project in the city." "Will you be taking anyone?" Elena asked, her voice carefully neutral. Marcus busied himself with unpacking containers. "It's all business, Elena. You'd be bored to tears." "How would you know what bores me when you never give me the chance to find out?" Marcus sighed. "We've been through this. These events are just not my scene, I know." Elena's patience snapped like a thread pulled too tight. "Did you know Marissa from my culinary school is now the executive chef at Lumiere? The restaurant that just got a Michelin star? That's nice, Marcus said distractedly, checking his phone. Silent transformation. Spring melted into summer as Elena's life took on a dual existence. To Marcus, she remained the supportive wife waiting at home, her frustrations temporarily buried beneath a veneer of acceptance. But 3 mornings a week, she slipped out to Lumiere, where she had negotiated a part-time consulting position, revamping their dessert menu. This passion fruit creme brulee is extraordinary, Marissa said, sampling Elena's latest creation. The Bryant Foundation called again. They want us to cater their autumn charity ball. Elena nearly dropped the torch she was holding. The Bryant ball? Are you sure? Absolutely. Their regular caterer had a disaster at the mayor's birthday. We're their salvation. Marissa grinned. They want to feature Chicago's rising culinary stars. That includes you. Elena's mind raced. Marcus would be there, networking, building his precious connections, never imagining his hidden wife would be the mastermind behind the evening's culinary experience. I'm in, she said. At home, the distance between her and Marcus had grown into something tangible. They orbited each other like polite strangers, sharing elegant living quarters. When he mentioned the Bryant ball, Elena merely nodded. Richard's wife can't attend, Marcus commented one evening. He suggested I bring my assistant Veronica instead. Purely professional, of course. Better optics than arriving alone. Elena set down her glass with deliberate care. Do whatever you need to, she replied, her calm exterior masking the storm within. That night, Elena called Marissa. I need a favor. Over the following weeks, Elena threw herself into preparations for the ball. By day, she crafted menus and tested recipes. By night, she took private etiquette coaching from Marissa's socialite cousin Olivia, who taught her the unwritten rules of Chicago's elite circles. Stand tall, speak directly, and never apologize for occupying space, Olivia instructed. Half of belonging is believing you deserve to. Elena also visited Sophia Chen, an up-and-coming designer who had once been snubbed by the same social circles that now clamored for her creations. I want something unforgettable, Elena told her. Something that makes a statement. While Elena evolved, Marcus grew more consumed with the Westlake project. The irony wasn't lost on her that as he worked desperately to secure his place among Chicago's elite, she was quietly claiming her own. 2 weeks before the ball, Elena received a call from Lumiere's owner. The Bryant Foundation wants to meet our team personally. Their director specifically requested the pastry chef attend. The meeting was set for the following day at the offices of Donahue and Associates. Elena's heart raced as she entered the sleek building where her husband worked. The receptionist didn't recognize her, a painful reminder of how completely Marcus had compartmentalized his life. I'm here for the Bryant Foundation meeting, she said. 14th floor, conference room, C. Elena stepped off the elevator directly into the path of Veronica, Marcus's assistant. Recognition flashed in the woman's eyes. Mrs. Donahue? I didn't know you were involved with the Bryant event. Before Elena could respond, the conference room door opened, and Marcus emerged deep in conversation with the foundation director. He stopped mid-sentence when he saw her, confusion washing over his features. Elena, the unexpected guest. The Bryant Foundation Charity Ball transformed the Chicago Cultural Center into a wonderland of subtle opulence. Crystal chandeliers cast prismatic light across the grand hall as the city's elite arrived in waves of designer formal wear and carefully cultivated personas. Marcus Donahue adjusted his bow tie, standing near the entrance with Veronica, his assistant, who was dressed in a modest black gown. He scanned the room, mentally mapping the power players he needed to impress tonight. The Westlake investors are by the East Bar, Veronica murmured, and the foundation board members are seated at table 1. Marcus nodded, still unsettled from the encounter at his office 2 weeks ago. Elena had been poised, professional, a stranger wearing his wife's face. She had simply explained her role with Lumiere's catering team and excused herself from the awkward situation. When he'd returned home that night, ready for confrontation, she had already packed an overnight bag. I'm staying at Marissa's until the event, she'd said calmly. We have intensive preparations. He hadn't known how to respond. The Elena he married would have demanded explanations. expressed hurt, not this cool, composed woman who seemed beyond his reach. "Shall we circulate?" Veronica asked, interrupting his thoughts. "In a moment, learning to dance again." The terrace offered a momentary escape from the glittering chaos inside. Chicago's skyline created a backdrop of light and shadow as Elena breathed in the cool autumn air, steadying herself after the emotional whirlwind of the evening. Elena. She turned to find Marcus standing in the doorway, vulnerability etched across his features. For once he looked uncertain, the polished architect replaced by the man she'd fallen in love with years ago. "You were extraordinary tonight," he said, approaching slowly as if afraid she might disappear. "Thank you." Her response was measured, neither cold nor inviting. "Not just tonight," he continued. "You've always been extraordinary. I just failed to see it." Elena studied him, searching for the practiced charm he used in business dealings. Instead, she found raw honesty in his eyes. "Why did you do it, Marcus? Was I really such an embarrassment?" "No." His voice cracked. "Never you. It was my own insecurity." He moved to the railing beside her, looking out at the city. "I grew up believing I had to be perfect to succeed. When people questioned why someone like me would marry someone like you." "Someone like me?" Elena's eyebrow arched. "Someone authentic. Someone who didn't play their games." Marcus ran a hand through his hair. "Instead of being proud of that, I let their doubts become mine. I tried to keep you separated from this world because I was terrified." "Of what?" "That you'd see how hollow it all is. How hollow I'd become." His voice dropped almost to a whisper. "Or worse, that they'd taint you, make you doubt yourself the way I doubted myself." The music from inside drifted through the open doors, a slow, melancholy jazz piece. "I never needed your protection, Marcus. I needed your partnership." Elena turned to face him fully. "Do you know what I realized these past months? That I was starving myself trying to fit into the narrow space you allowed me in your life." "I'm so sorry," he whispered, the words inadequate but sincere. "I don't expect forgiveness, but I need you to know that tonight, watching you shine, I've never been more proud or more ashamed of myself." Elena was silent for a long moment. "We can't go back." "I know," he nodded, resignation in his voice. "No," Elena clarified, taking a step toward him. "We can't go back to what we were. That marriage was built on your terms alone. If we move forward, it has to be as equals." Hope flickered in Marcus's eyes. "Is that possible?" "I don't know," she admitted, "but tonight I realized something too. Despite everything, when they announced my name, I looked for you first. I wanted to see your face." Marcus tentatively extended his hand. "Dance with me?" Not as the architect and his hidden wife, but as Marcus and Elena, both of us exactly as we are. Elena hesitated, then placed her hand in his. As they moved slowly across the terrace, the city lights witnessing their fragile new beginning, she felt the familiar contours of his body, now humbled, now honest. "The Westlake contract," she murmured against his shoulder. "Did you secure it?" Marcus laughed softly. "I have no idea. Tonight I discovered something more important." "What's that?" "That success means nothing if I can't share it with the woman I love. The real woman, not the version I tried to make acceptable to others." As the music faded, they remained entwined, neither rushing to break the moment. Rebuilding would take time. Trust, once broken, doesn't mend easily. But as they stood together under the vast Chicago sky, both finally seen and acknowledged by the other, the possibility of a new foundation emerged, one constructed not of pretense and pride, but of truth and equal footing. Elena rested her forehead against his. "I can't promise we'll make it." "I know," Marcus whispered, "but I promise to spend every day trying to be worthy of you, not by hiding you, but by standing beside you wherever your talents take you." For the first time in years, they were truly facing each other. Two imperfect people choosing to begin again, with all the risk and hope that entailed. Not a fairy tale ending, but perhaps something more valuable, an honest new beginning.